reach out to Paul George? Really?
Well, then you were able to tell Paul George that Russ is indicating he wants out of Oklahoma City to come to the Clippers, right?
My thing.
So that allows Paul to say, well, if he wants out, I want out.
And then why you going behind that man? But that man told you something. Why you going behind his back talking? Here's another thing. The very thing that you and a lot of others have said about LeBron James and Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, the exact same person, just quieter.
Yeah.
And that's what we seem to. That's what was going unnoticed. Because Kawhi is so quiet. Oh, Kawhi is secretly behind the scenes, orchestrating trades, bringing in this one, bringing in that one. Kawhi Leonard is quietly behind the scene, displaying snakish behavior. But because he's quiet, it goes unnoticed. Boy, I'm so glad they brought this out, because I've been telling you this for the longest from what I've been hearing about what this young man's been doing behind the scenes. And a lot of people didn't want to hear it. Oh, you're a LeBron supporter. The best thing that happened to me since I've been on this show is this information coming out, because it crystallized a lot of things for a lot of people in a lot of people's eyes. Your guy is the exact thing, the very thing. My grandfather used to tell me and my brother this all the time. He said, boy, if you're not careful, you will become the very thing you despise the most in a person. Kawhi Leonard is the exact, what people despise the most. In LeBron and Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard is the very same thing.
Okay. What have I called him from the start? The quiet assassin. He is at heart, at bedrock, he is an assassin, quiet as he may be. What have I told you about how he quit his way out of San Antonio? I have forgiven, but I haven't forgotten, because I can't. What happened for a whole year on the show? I couldn't even speak the man's name. I called him number 2, as in, you know what number 2 stands for, because I could not stomach what he had done to my San Antonio Spurs, and he frankly left him for dead, basically, right?
And he tried him and his uncle tried to hold the Toronto Raptors hostage.
They tried to hold a bunch of teams hostage.
They did.
They were breaking all kinds of rules, and they got away with it, and he got where he wanted to go. Via Toronto and a championship, he got home to the Clippers. And he's still with the Clippers, and this will only increase the bad blood between the Clippers and the Lakers. And one of these years, please God, let them meet head-to-head in a conference finals, because it would be the greatest theater ever. At least for this show, it would work, because we would be on the edge of our seats. But all I know is that in the end, he actually used Russ against Paul George to allow Paul George to say, well, if he...
Actually, he used Russ against Russ, because he went and told Paul George what Russ had told...
That's what I'm saying. But he used Russ to convince Paul George, well, you're free, because he's trying to get out. He's trying to get out. Well, then I want out. Right?
Yes.
And so he did, in the end, he chose Paul George over Russ.
But why did he tell Paul George? Now, Paul, I want you to understand, I've already reached out to KD. I've already reached out to Jimmy Butler. I've already reached out to Kyrie. He didn't tell PG that. He just told PG that Russ had contacted him about linking up with the Clippers. Oh, really? See, that joker there, but that Kawhi Leonard, I told you, boy, he's slicker than an eel.
Well, you want to talk about audacity. What did he do on opening night? We're going back 2 years ago against the Lakers. He drops a New Balance commercial right on LeBron's head during the game, in which he said, I've got next. This is Kawhi Town.
Hey, that ain't
you want to talk about some you-know-what?
That ain't go very well. Because at the end of the day, what happened? He had a 3-1 lead. He gagged it off, and my guy got the trophy. And it's still my guy Town.
Last year, they were NBA Finals bound until he got hurt. They were. Even you agreed. You admitted they would have beaten Phoenix.
You keep telling me, Skip, you keep telling me he got next. But when is next? Because we done ran 2 seasons, and he ain't been next.
Next year, he's got next.
Skip, the man gonna miss half the year.
He'll be back in April. He'll be just fine. They're going to be a terror.
You're saying that's what a normal NBA player would do if he had this injury.
Okay.
What does Kawhi's history tell you about him having injuries and the time it takes him to come
you're
back?
Probably right, but all is fair in love and pro basketball. That's what he's telling you.
So in other words, Kawhi Leonard is more like Kevin Durant. If you do whatever you dislike about KD, whatever you dislike about LeBron, that's the guy. He just don't say anything with no social media.
I cannot.
Let's talk about some potential future stars here. Who had the best debut in last night's Summer League? We'll discuss next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
offseason for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, to say the least. But in the end, Green Bay's franchise QB signed a reworked deal. And as part of the contract, the final year, which was set to be 2023, will now be voided. This means Rodgers will become a free agent a year earlier than previously scheduled, although the Packers could trade him next offseason. So, Shannon, are you surprised he will play this year in Green Bay?
I'm a little, because, Skip, the situation seemed unattainable for a while there. But the Packers dug in and said, look, you're either playing for us or you're not playing this year. The choice is yours. You can forego $30, $35 million and sit at home and mope and talk about how bad we did you and we don't listen to you. Or you come here and play. Now, I would have liked to see Brady. I would have liked to see Rodgers get a Brady deal. Brady said, I tell you what I'd do. Give me $8 million signing bonus to get me up to about $23 million, because I got $15 million base. Give me another 8, make it 23. And then let me be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year, and you can't franchise me. Because now I want choice of where I go.
You're talking about with New England.
With New England, what he did in New England, Skip. Right. He says, I want to be free, and you can't tag me. Well, he still has a year left. And Green Bay, let me tell you what Green Bay's going to do. Green Bay said, we're not letting you go for nothing. We're going to trade you to a team that gives us the best value. So I like him getting that 2023, but, you know, they do play football in 2022. So he's not out of the woods just yet.
No.
But it just seems to me, Skip, everybody's saying the right things now. Yeah, it's a process. Gutekunst, they're talking, and we got to work through things, yada, yada, all that, yada, yada, yada. Aaron Rodgers wants out. He wanted out. And I believe at the end of this year, he will be gone. But it might not be to the team that he wants to go to, because he doesn't really have that choice, because they still have his rights for another year.
So, all through all the gnashing of teeth that Aaron Rodgers is gone, I dug in over here and I said, no, 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 he will be a Packer this year.
Yeah, you dug in because you said they should dig in.
They dug in. And it feels like, it sounds like, I think Green Bay won this.
They did.
Because
they get his services for another year.
Aaron Rodgers is still a Packer.
Yes.
He's still the defending MVP of the league. And they're still a very good football team. And yet, I told you all along, Aaron Rodgers would like to retire a Packer. All things considered, I believe that's what he wants to do. He also knows his bread's getting buttered pretty good in Green Bay, because Devontae was ranked #1 by Pro Football Focus. The #1 receiver in Pro Football last year was Devontae Adams.
But you see what they posted on IG? They both posted Rodgers and Devontae last dance picture, Jordan Pippen.
Okay. Well, is that just their way of trying to get even for what happened to Aaron?
Nah, Aaron's I'm gone. Devontae I mean, Green Bay gonna throw a boatload of money at
And
Devontae.
by the way, Pro Football Focus ranked Green Bay's pass blocking last year 2nd in the NFL. Well, this is a pretty good situation for him, right?
Yeah.
And he knows it. I thought it was a sympathy play on his part to say, first of all, he wanted more money, and he didn't get any more money.
He didn't want any more money. They tried to get it to him. He said, didn't he tell you it wasn't about the money? Skip, look, I think Aaron knows. He has Bakhtiari. He has an outstanding offensive line. The running back, Aaron Jones, is phenomenal.
He's really good.
Devontae and Robert Tonyan, they got Valdez Scanlon. They got guys.
And they drafted another receivers.
Right. They're very good offensively. It was never about that. I think he elaborately laid out what caused the problem. Now, look, Green Bay is like, look, we can't just have everybody. This ain't no retirement facility here. We can't have guys. When guys' production start to wane, we just can't keep them because they're your boys. We got to do what's in the best. And I get it. You know, he wanted them to keep Jordan. He wanted to keep Clay Matthews Jr. He wanted to keep a lot of different guys in Cobb and this one, that one. He's like, the money that they were asking for the value and the production that they were giving, it just didn't align. Aaron has to understand that. But that's something they could have shared with him. They could have talked to him about, because he's like, look, I see Tom get whatever he wants. Peyton went to Denver and whatever he asked for. Well, they normally do that when you leave, not while you're there. Tom didn't get that say-so when he was in New England, Skip.
Is Aaron Rodgers Tom Brady?
But Skip, no. Skip.
Is Aaron Rodgers Peyton Manning? No.
Skip. The Chicago Bears called Andy Dalton and told him that they're going to take a quarterback. Now, Andy Dalton just got there. First of all, Andy Dalton, when they told him they was taking Justin Fields, he should have gotten in his car and met Justin Fields at the airport and said, here, I'm here to pick you up. That's what he should have done.
All right.
So Aaron Rodgers, if they can give that kind of courtesy to Andy Dalton, what do you think Aaron Rodgers deserves? Forget that he's not as accomplished. He's not, okay, if you say he's not as good as Tom Brady, okay.
Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in NFC Championship.
So what's Andy Dalton?
This isn't about Andy Dalton.
But I'm saying, he's saying even when they took Patrick Mahomes, guess what? Big Red Andy Reid picked up the phone, called Alex Smith, and said, we're going to take a quarterback. Skip, that's just common courtesy. That's all.
The Packers won this battle.